To this now, the High Court in Pretoria has heard about how a senior police officer, Major General Shadrack Sibiya, who was fired in 2015, continued to be part of the investigation into the murder of former Orlando Pirates goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa. Now, Sibiya, who has previously denied being part of the Meyiwa murder case's investigating team, was fired in 2015 before he was reinstated in 2022 and promoted to the position of National Deputy Police Commissioner. This after winning his legal bid in the Labour Court. However, state witness Sizwe Zungu has told the court about a meeting he attended with Sibiya and Major General Vincent Leshabane in 2019, where the discussions centered around the 5 accused possible involvement in the murder. Let's now speak to SABC News reporter Sipho Kekana, who's been watching this particular case in court. Sipho, this is quite an interesting turn, especially when you see what's happening.
Yes, you are right, Bongiwe. The state witness has now placed Sibiya right at the heart of this investigation that has now placed all the 5 accused at the scene of Senzo Meyiwa in False Loras on that night that the former Bafana captain was shot and killed. So Zungu says that while Warrant Officer Makubo and Colonel Joyce Buthelezi rejected his version, Sibiya was among the top police officials who accepted that particular version. Let's take a listen.
You say that present at that meeting with Leshabane was also General Sibiya present, correct?
Yes.
And you state that at the time General Sibiya was the head of Hawks in Gauteng, correct?
I was informed by the General that he was the head of the Hawks.
Now, if I inform you that at the time of this meeting, that is in 2019, General Sibiya was fired from, at the time he was already fired from the SAPS. He was only reinstated in 2020.
I heard that thereafter.
So in essence, at the time of this meeting, Sibiya, who's also interested in this matter, was a civilian. He was not an officer of SAPS, correct?
Yes.
And you state that him, Sibiya, told you that the information that you had relayed to the police was correct and accurate, correct?
Yes.
Now, as a civilian, how will you have known that information is correct?
I wouldn't know as to how he got to know, but what I knew at the time was that he was a police officer.
So, Bongiwe, there, so during Sipho Ramosipile's reopened cross-examination, the court then heard about how Zungu was related to accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi. But Ntanzi says that this cousin of his, this possible cousin of his, the first time that he saw him was last week when he was giving testimony in court. So Zungu, who's under heavy police protection, says he knows all the accused before court. He says he's very well acquainted with accused number 1 and 2, who he says were on that at that particular hotel on that particular night when Meyiwa was shot and killed. Let's take a listen.
Now I'm going to touch on paragraph 2 of your statement, in which you say that accused number 2 is your cousin. Is that still your assertion, correct?
When I say that is my cousin, because he is by birth, he is of my family.
And
also I did mention it that my grandmother is from the Ntanzi family, and if it is that he is disputing that he is from the Ntanzi family, then I wouldn't know.
He doesn't at all dispute that he's an Ntanzi, and in fact he does confirm that your father and his father are cousins. Your comment?
Yes. That's how I know it as well.
So Bongiwe, earlier the judge dismissed the defense assertion that the state was withholding a crucial handwritten statement by Zungu, which they argued, if made available, would reveal more inconsistencies with his evidence. The defense contended that the witness had made mention of a handwritten statement which he had initialized and had been commissioned, which he says he used when he made the final statement, which was read out in court. Well, Bogiwe, this is about the night that Zungu says he saw all these 5 accused people returning back to the hotel in Vosloorus at about 9 in the evening carrying guns, an incident which he says it would later dawn on him that the accused could have been returning from the killing of the former Orlando Pirates goalkeeper. So Judge Ratamokwateng, they're saying the court viewed these accusations against the state prosecutor in serious light, but did not believe that Baloyi would, at the risk of his own career as a prosecutor, not disclose such information. Let's take a listen.
Every prosecutor in this country knows that he has to disclose the documents on which a case of the state is based on. And I don't believe that Mr. Baloyi can risk the entire career he has built up over years as a senior advocate. I don't know what he would gain, because it is not the duty of a prosecutor, he is not an instructed counsel, to defend or act as an attorney or advocate of a witness in a case. The duty of a prosecutor is to present the case of the prosecution to the court for it to adjudicate.
So despite what the witness says are mistakes with the names of the accused in relation to the events that took place on that evening, Zungu has maintained his version as true, and that all those 5 accused were in fact in Vosloorus on that night. Advocate Charles Mnisi Bongiwe will continue with his cross-examination of the witness when court resumes tomorrow morning.
And it'll be interesting to see what then is further said about this particular handwritten statement, if at all, Sipho, or if this matter is indeed a done deal. But let's speak to you tomorrow and see what comes out in court. That is our reporter Sipho Kekana watching developments there in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial for us.